Lesson 12.13 is called inverse trig, still using the unit circle, so you might want to have that out. So an inverse of something is the opposite. And so we've done this before where we had to find, say, an angle in a right triangle based on sides. Let's say this is 3 and this is 7, and I want to know what this angle is. Remember that I can set up a trig function. And so from here, this angle, I'd have the opposite and the adjacent, which would be tangent of my angle equals 3 to 7. And then there's that special button on the calculator you have to push. That is second. And then hitting tangent, that's called the inverse of. And so the whole point of that is to inverse this tangent to make it go away, to leave me with what x is. And so I'm doing inverse tangent of this fraction. And so that tells me what the angle was. That's similar to what we're doing today, but it's even easier because you're using your unit circle. So we're trying to find an angle. Remember, theta is the symbol for an angle measure between 0 and it's got to be less than 360 degrees. So if it says sine of, let's say, what angle is square root of 2 over 2? This should look familiar because we know that's in our 45, 45, 90 triangle. Okay, so I'm trying to find on my unit circle a side length, which is going to come from the ordered pair. And sine is the y value. So on my unit circle, I'm trying to find points that have a y value of square root of 2 over 2. That's a half. That would be right here at 45 degrees. And then that would be here. See how y is positive square root of 2 over 2 at 135 degrees. So you can get multiple answers because there's always two quadrants where trig functions are the same sign. They have symmetry. So y values are positive here and here. The answer would not be 225 degrees because I see that y is a negative. And it would not be 315 degrees because I see that y is negative. They want specifically it to be positive square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so the next one, those are my two answers. The next one is saying cosine of what angle gives me a negative 1/2. And so remember, cosine is the adjacent or the x value. So we're looking around our unit circle for an x value of a negative 1/2. The first place I see it is at 60, but that's a positive. Cosine is negative in quadrant 2 because my x values are negative. And so that would be here at 120 degrees. And then down here at 240 degrees. Again, that's the only two places where that cosine is going to be a negative 1/2. Then I have tangent of an angle needs to be 0. Tangent values are 0. Think of slope being a horizontal line. And so that happens when you take your 0, your y divided by your x, you get 0 over 1 and 0 over negative 1. Those are zeros. So that happens in two spots, at 0 degrees and at 180. And then the last one is where is cosine of an angle equal to negative 1? So I'm going to find where is x negative 1. Think about that on a chord plane. X value of negative 1 means the point went left negative 1. That only happens at 180 degrees. So there's only one answer on that one because if I go right here at 0 degrees, that's going right 1 or positive 1. That's not the same. Okay, so the whole point of inverse trig is you're now given a side length of your triangle, or if it's tangent, you're given like a slope. You're trying to figure out what angle or angles does that happen.